Guys, so today I will be sharing how to make milk tea cake my way. So this is what the end product that you'll see once you follow the procedure. So I hope you do like and subscribe to my channel. I put a lot of effort making and creating this recipe. This is quite a long video. There's quite a bit of a step, but they are easy step. This is easy to make, so I hope you do try them. For the ingredients, we need 3 egg yolks. This is just regular tea. This is Lipton black tea. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 3 tablespoons of corn flour or cornstarch. 1/3 cup plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. 1.5 tablespoons of butter. 2 cups of fresh milk and 1/2 cup of cream. Any cream will do. So to begin, we're going to infuse the milk with the tea. So in a pot, put together the milk and the tea. We're going to warm up the milk. It doesn't need to boil. Just for the milk to be warm enough or hot enough to infuse the cream. So once the milk is hot, we're going to cover the pot with a lid, and then we're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, we're going to strain the milk tea. So we're moving on making the custard. So in a pot, combine the egg yolks and the sugar. Give this a quick mix and then add the cream. Give it a mix. To this, we're going to add the corn flour or cornstarch. Mix until everything is well combined. In this process, I'm switching between the whisk and the spatula. Then add the salt. Finally, add the milk tea. Now we're moving on to a stove with the heat setting medium to low heat, and we're going to continuously stir this until our custard thickens up. Now the custard has thickened up. We're going to take this out of the heat. Into the custard, we're going to immediately add the butter. Transfer the custard into a heat-proof bowl, and then cover this with cling wrap. Make sure that the cling wrap is touching the surface of the custard so it doesn't form a skin. Place this in the fridge while we move on to the next step. So I have 6 tablespoons of warm milk in here. I warmed this up in the microwave. To this, I'm going to infuse 3 bags of black tea. I warmed the milk in the microwave for about 50 seconds. So let this sit for about 10 minutes again. So now to make the cake, we need 6 tablespoons of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 1/4 cup of cake flour, 4 egg yolks, the 6 tablespoons of milk tea, and 1/4 cup of oil. So let's remove the tea bag. Make sure to squeeze all the liquid from the bag to get the best flavor. My hands are clean. So now we're going to whisk in the egg yolks and the sugar. Whisk this until they are light pale yellow. To this, we're going to add the oil. And then the milk tea. Set this aside for a second. Combine the flour, the baking powder, and the salt. Give it a quick mix, and then we're going to sift this into the egg yolk mixture. Then mix the ingredients until they are well combined. Just make sure that you don't overmix this. We're now going to set this aside and we're going to move on to the meringue. For the meringue, we need 4 egg whites, 6 tablespoons of sugar, and half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. So using an electric mixer, we're going to beat the egg whites until it is frothy. Make sure that all the things that touches the egg whites doesn't have any grease on it, or else your meringue will not work. Now, once the egg whites is frothy, we can add the cream of tartar. Then we can gradually add the sugar. Once the sugar is all in, continue beating this until we reach the stiff peak stage. And this is now the stiff peak stage. We're going to combine the meringue and the egg yolk batter into additions using the folding method. By the way, your oven should be preheated at 170 degrees Celsius. Now with the second addition of the meringue. Now this is now ready. We're going to divide the batter into 2. But I find that this butter is quite a lot. I'll explain later. By the way, I didn't grease the pan. So now we're going to bake this in a preheated oven at 170 degrees Celsius for about 28 to 30 minutes, or until when you insert the skewer and the skewer comes out clean. Now we're making the cream cheese filling. This is 1 cup of icing sugar sifted, 250 grams of cream cheese, half a tablespoon of vanilla, and 1 cup of whipping cream or thickened cream, which is 35% milk fat. To begin, we're going to beat the cream until it reaches stiff peaks. Just like this. Set this aside. Now we're going to beat the cream cheese. Make sure that your cream cheese is at room temperature so it's easy to mix this. To this, I'm going to gradually add the icing sugar. Scrape down the side of the bowl. Now we're going to add the vanilla. Give the mixture a quick mix. And now we're ready to add the whipped cream. Now we're going to quickly beat this until it is well combined. Don't overmix this or else the whipped cream will split. And this is now ready. We're going to put this in the fridge until we're ready to use it. And this is now the cake. after baking, but the problem is it's too high. We can't put any filling on the top. And to solve that problem, I'm going to cut a little bit of the cake at the bottom. So cut a small portion of the cake. By the way, my cake tin is 9 by 3 inches. So I'm placing the cake back into the tin. So now I'm going to cook the tapioca. I'm just using a store-bought tapioca pearls. So just follow the manufacturer's directions. So boil the tapioca pearls for 2 to 3 minutes. Then after 2 to 3 minutes, cover this and turn off the heat. Let it sit for 2 to 3 minutes. After 2 to 3 minutes, we're going to simmer this for another 2 to 3 minutes. After 2 to 3 minutes, we're going to quickly submerge the pearls into cold water. Then take this out of the cold water, put it in a bowl. Then to this, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. By the way, the tapioca pearl is 1 cup. So I've got 1 cup of boiling water in here, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of gelatin. I'm doing this to cover the top of the custard so it doesn't form a skin. So we'll let this cool down completely. Meanwhile, we're ready to assemble finally the milk tea cake. So on top of the cake, we're going to put in the cream cheese filling or cheesecake filling. On top of the cheesecake filling, we're going to put our milk tea custard. Give it a quick mix. Then add a substantial amount of the milk tea custard on top of the cheesecake filling. Evenly distribute it. Make it as flat as you can. And then just to make sure that our custard will not form a crust, we're going to put the jelly on top. This is just put a small amount of the jelly. So I made a lot of jelly. You don't need a lot of this. You can scale the jelly recipe in half. I'll write down in the description box the correct recipe. And then we're going to put this in the fridge until the jelly is set. So this is our finished product. I put a small amount of pearls on top. By the way, if you're not using the pearls and you're going to use it the next day, you might need to reheat the pearls in the microwave to soften it again. So this is what it looks like close up. This is really good. I can guarantee that you're going to love this. I do trial and error to perfect this recipe. So I hope you give it a try, and please do like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.